Hello, this is Clinton Kane, and I'm hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live. Be sure to check it out.
What's up, guys? Rob here, Front Row Live Entertainment. I'm finally hanging out with Clinton Kane. I've been trying to get with you for like the past year, I believe, and you've had the busiest schedule, so I'm glad that we can finally make it happen now.
Thank you for having me, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, congratulations. The debut album is finally out. I say finally because I'm sure for you as an artist, like that's been a project that you've been working for so long, especially the songwriting, the songs on this track. And you know, for you as a new artist, kind of debut, or not necessarily a new artist, but for you debuting that album, do you feel that now that the album has released, these songs or the impact that these songs had on you, like they've kind of evolved or they've kind of changed now?
Oh, without a doubt, this is supposed to come out last year, like October last year, September around that time, because it was already finished before then. Yeah, now it's like now that it's out, like it still affects me the same, and I'm like, holy shit, like great, it's finally out. But also like now I'm like, do I really care about the songs? I don't really give. So it's exactly the feeling, yeah.
Yeah, I mean that must be tough because you've had them for so long, and then now that they're finally out, you're like probably ready to work on something else. But how do you keep yourself like still in that like album mode for this particular record?
Just gotta force myself. It's my manager constantly nagging me at 7 a.m. Hey man, post TikToks. Hey man, post the album, post the album. No, I still because yeah, I was sick of the song. I was already kind of like not sick of the songs, but you know, like all these songs are written like last year, like last end of 2020.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point you kind of like have a different sound mindset, like sonically and like lyrically. You've kind of moved on from the emotions. But when it all came out, I like felt like new excitement about it. You know what I mean? So I just keep working, keep going.
Now the fact that you had that much time before the actual release of the record, like, did you find yourself going back and re-recording or rewriting some of the songs or the lyrics on this record?
Um, yeah, last minute. Last minute before the album was about to come out, we switched one of the songs to another song. So there was supposed to be another song, but we switched it to "Keep It to Yourself," the lead single off the album. But as far as like, I don't think I was allowed to switch anything because everything was already mastered and mixed. So if I switched anything, everyone would rage at me.
It'll be another year.
Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, but no, as far as all the songs, I didn't switch anything.
Now, what was that process like going into the studio with Stephen Rush and being able to create and record these songs? Like, how do you feel that he made you feel comfortable in with the topics that you were writing about? And how do you feel like he made you step out of your comfort zone?
The first time the thing is, we met before we even wrote a song together. So the first like little like kind of like EP, but not really. It was like songs from YouTube back in the day that we just re-recorded, and he essentially re-recorded that for me. Then we did our first session. I was already like super comfortable with him because he had worked with a lot of Aussies before, and we're very like abrasive and say a lot of like we're just very honest and say like what we think, and he like has a lot of comfortability with that, and right off the bat like we just clicked. And what we've been known each other for like 3 years now. Yeah. So it's been like he's essentially the thing is he's essentially my best friend. So I can tell him anything. Like I just called him last night because I had a quarter life crisis. I was like, hey man, I hate my life, bro. But no, he for some reason he's like only one of few people who's able to like bring out, when I say the best in me, the most depression. And so he knows it.
He sounds like a depressing person.
No, he's great. He just knows he knows what makes me tick, and he knows like what questions to ask to make me go like, and then like my heart starts sinking, and then I'm like, and then I go on the piano, and then I start writing something. Yeah. But he like we're very 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 close, and like I'm thankful for our relationship.
How was he able to get to that point though? Because I'm sure in the beginning it was tough for him to be like, "Hey, dig a little deeper. Like that song sucks, that story sucks, but I feel like you can dig more." So like that initial process, like how were you able to learn to accept his like opinions and his like everything that he was throwing at you?
It took a while. It took like at least So when we started writing, I was very much like, because I started writing like in my bedroom, and like it was real feelings, and it was like hard for me to like write with anyone else. So when we first started writing, it was like I would we would come up, I would sing a melody and I would do something, and then we would be like, "That's good," right? And then I would be like, "Hey man, can you like get out of the room?" So then I would just write the whole song and like be done with it. Then we'd make like little tweaks and stuff, and that was like that for 4 to 6 months.
Wow.
And then after that period, I slowly started like writing with other people. I slowly started like writing with him in the room, and at that point, I mean, it was just like time and closeness, and like at some point, like after a year, it was just like smooth sailing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as like your writing process goes, like, do you feel like you've always been able to open up the way that you do with your audience or with your music, or do you feel like it's something that you're still kind of learning to be okay with doing?
As far as the writing process, the thing is, like in my mind, when I'm writing, I don't think about putting the song out. I don't like I don't think about like other people when I'm writing.
You're actually the second person that has told me this.
Oh,
Like
really?
they write better when they don't think about the song actually being released. When they
Yeah.
think about it just writing on their diary or whatever. Like,
Yeah, it just like comes very natural to me because I essentially like I started using this as a form of like release for my like bottled up feelings as a kid. Um, so every time I write, it's never about like what we try to do, and what ends up being naturally done is like we write based off of the feelings, and
yeah.
we decide like what songs to put out later and figure that out later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, one thing that really like drew my attention with your music is not only just like the storytelling that you give us, but you allow us as the listeners the opportunity to actually feel those emotions that you're going through. Like the way that you emote in every single track is incredible. So, do you feel like that was something that it took you a while to kind of learn to sing and emote the way that you do? Or is that something that just naturally happened from the get go just because how vulnerable these songs were to you?
I don't want to sound like I'm showing off, but I am. No, it just came naturally to me. I don't know how. The thing is, like, people, like, I don't necessarily, like, I don't hear what everyone else is hearing. Like, when people say, like, oh, you sing, like, and there's so much emotion, and it's blah, blah, this, blah, blah, that, and I'm like, I don't.
Dude, I'm rapping.
No, no,
What are you
no, no.
talking about?
No, like, genuinely, I don't know what anyone's talking about. They're like, still to this day, I don't think, like, I'm a that great. I'm like, okay at singing. I'm not even joking. Like, I'm genuinely not like trying to be like genuinely in my head. I'm like, I'm okay, but like people say that all the time, and I'm like, I don't know what you're hearing, but like yeah, you know what I mean. I don't really know. The thing is, my dream is like, I wish I could see myself live, or hear my songs from a different person's perspective.
Right.
Like, I wish I could like see myself live, and like playing live, and then seeing myself live at the same time.
Yeah.
Because like I for some reason I like can't hear what everyone else is hearing. I don't know.
That's crazy. I mean, but like, how does that impact you in the recording process? Like when you're recording your vocals, like, do you just hit record and just like let whatever comes out, or do you like go in specifically with like, I want this kind of melody here, or I want this kind of vocal tone here, and like, what is that process like for you?
Um, our my recording process is usually like we essentially take 3 takes of the whole song, and then we're done.
Yeah.
We take 1, 2, 3, and then like Steve and I like are like, okay, we're good. Like, he knows that too. And then as far as like putting layers on the vocals and all that stuff, like that comes after if we feel like we need more stuff there for production. But like usually when we're recording, it's like we record the whole thing 3 times, and then like we're finished up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I normally artists don't say that. Like normally it's like they go through it over and over because they're not happy with the way that their vocal tone was, because like the emotion didn't feel natural.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. 3 takes. That's insane.
I don't know. Yeah, it's always been like that. I don't think there's ever been a song where we've taken more than 3 takes from everything I've released and everything I've like recorded.
So with this record in particular, like out of these 9 tracks, like what song was like the most challenging for you? Like, and obviously it wasn't in the vocals. So like, what was the challenge in the song?
Um, What was the challenge? I mean, in the vocal, I did have a problem. You know what? There was a problem with "Go to Hell." It was too high for me to hit, and I had to keep re-singing it. And then we had to take a break that day because my voice was shot. And then the next day we ended up recording "Go to Hell" again because that was like such a hard song to sing.
And that was the same vocal tone, or you dropped it?
That was the same vocal tone, yeah. But sorry, what was the question?
Just like what song challenged you the most on this record? And why?
Probably 14. That song took like a year to write.
Damn.
It was like we kept like coming up with different like choruses, different verses, different pre-choruses until it felt right. And just because like the song is really like showcases my deepest insecurities. Like the chorus goes like, I wish I was somebody else just to feel like I'm enough for myself. And it's like
That's
like
deep.
so that that's been like a constant feeling of mine, like not now anymore, thank God, but like ever since I was growing up, like it's been like a very personal and very deep like topic to talk about, and I'm guessing that's why it took so long for me to like find the perfect parts for the song.
Yeah. When you first started writing the song, you mentioned earlier that you don't write thinking that it's gonna like go out to the public. So when you first started writing the song, like when did you know that you were actually going to release this as a track or as part of an album, and why?
When we finished it, because of like oh no, when we wrote the verse, I was pretty much like, the song is great. That was one of the first songs I wrote that very early on, where I've been like truly able to feel my hurt. Like I listened to it and I was like, holy, like this is like. Forgot the question. What was that again? Sorry. Wow. It's
When-
crazy. It's the morning.
like when did you realize like this song had to be like put out and
yes,
released?
yes, yes. Right when because we wrote the verse for that, and then I genuinely couldn't think of like a pre-chorus and a chorus for that song. So we had the verse in like a file, and it was just like the verse, and then the guitar kept playing in random melodies we just kept like playing around with. But literally, as soon as I wrote the verse, I was like, "This song is come out." But I ended up trying to rush it. I ended up trying to finish it, and I was like, "There's no point. I think we just like, take a breather and then come back whenever we're ready to come back." And then we came back and we finished it, and we were like, "Oh shit."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you said that you don't really deal with that anymore today. Like, do you feel like that song had a majority of the reason why you feel that way now?
Very much so, because I don't know what it is when I write and when I like finish writing a song. There's like some sort of like, it sounds corny, but it's pretty true and spiritual. There's like some sort of like lifted weight off those negative feelings that I just like release into the world. And it's like not on me anymore. Just like early on, I wrote a song called "This Is What Being Cheated On Feels Like," and one of my favorite songs I've written. I wrote that in my bedroom, and it was about like genuinely about like my ex-girlfriend who cheated on me, like physically. I saw everything. It's so graphic and so. But like after I wrote that song, I have never spoken to her since she cheated on me. But I called her up, and I said like, "Hey Alexandra, how are you?" And she was like so confused because I had never spoken to her ever since. And I was like, "Just want to let you know I forgive you. Like we're all good. Like there's no problem. Like we were young, dumb, and stupid, and you did what you did, and it's fine." So I don't know. There's this weird like. There's this weird like all these feelings like get off my chest, and it's like it's really spiritual, and I'm very happy about it. I'm very happy about it. I definitely would not be like healthy at all if that music wasn't here.
Yeah, what would have happened? Like what would happen if you don't have that kind of outlet? Like I feel like you'd just be miserable. Period. Like during the writing process of this like album, just because there's so many emotions. Again, like you're so vulnerable on this record. Like, do you feel like every time you were coming in, you just felt like a newer like version of yourself, or do you feel like you were getting drained during the process because of everything that you were talking about?
What do you mean everything coming in? Like when the
Like you just the different songs and the different kinds of topics that you're talking about. So like when you're in that process of writing it and recording it, like do you feel like it's like draining you because of all those emotions that are coming in all at once, or do you feel like it's helping you become better and like overcome them because you're experiencing all at once?
It's definitely helped me become better. The thing with this album was it wasn't like a 2 month or like 3 month. Let's sit down and finish this album. This is the past 3 years of my life. Like all these songs were like really like specific key moments in my life that has like affected me negatively, very negatively, and positively, and really more negatively because there's one happy song on the album. um, so this definitely it definitely it wasn't draining. It was definitely more of like a very like fulfilling release of emotions in my head that like is helping me out so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did you come into this record knowing what you were going to write about or knowing the title or the identity of the record, or is this something that revealed itself as you continue to write more and more music?
No, it just revealed itself. The title. I was on a phone call with my best friend, and we were literally just talking about like how shitty life is, and we were just like, this like we're done. Like we can't do this anymore. And then he was saying something on the phone, and he was like, maybe someday like everything's gonna be like all right or something. I was like, oh. And then after that, like I was like, okay, this is the album name. It's perfect. All the songs are just key moments in my life that have impacted me in so much as a person, as a human being, as a writer, and it all made all these all these moments in my life made sense with the title. Like maybe someday, like all this shit will like be okay, but also like there's that it isn't so positive, it isn't so negative. I'm kind of like in that gray area of like, will it? Maybe I don't know. It all just it all just it all just flowed. It definitely wasn't like something I thought about early on. It all just like made sense in the end.
Yeah. And as this record is now out, like, did it impact you in any way as far as like new material, like moving forward? Like, do you feel like you're going to change the way that you write? Do you feel like the topics that you're going to talk about are going to be different because you've kind of released all this on this album? Like, or do you feel like it didn't have any kind of impact in that sense?
I don't know yet. I just released my album last week, man. I don't have no clue what the next album's gonna be like. um, I'm definitely gonna be. There's definitely gonna be some new things I'm gonna be talking about, but there's definitely like lots more trauma to write about. Like back then, as far as sound, as far as writing, like style, I don't think too much into it. That's the thing. Like sonically, I do think a lot about it. And I'm like, okay, I want to try new things. I want to like explore the world as far as like different sounds of music I'm listening to right now, of course, like sonically. But as far as like writing style and like what I'm writing about, it's it's honestly just like go with whatever like I'm feeling and go with my gut, you know?
And as far as like your songwriting, like how much do you feel like you've evolved since that first initial song for this record to the last song that you wrote for the record?
So much. I literally like started watching like my first couple songs that I wrote. Like although like people loved it, like I do realize I do see and like my whole team sees like the the step up and the upgrade of like knowing, because like after like going in a room with like hundreds of people writing different things, like you get all these people's opinions and you get all these people's like minds and stuff like that. It's definitely evolved in a very good way.
Do you think there's a particular like songwriter that you collaborated with that has helped you be a better songwriter?
um Not really. No, it was just like experience essentially. It was a lot of like just going into rooms and meeting different people and seeing how different people write songs. Um, but no, there hasn't been anyone specific that has like super super helped me.
Yeah. Now you've had some great success with a couple of your songs already prior to the release. So with that success, like, do you feel like it impacted the way that you thought about like finalizing this record? Like, did you, because the audience liked this kind of song or this kind of style in music, like, did that have an impact on you on what you would be creating?
Without a doubt, TikTok man really does numbers on you. No, yeah, all these songs had previously like blown up on TikTok. Um, but it kind of fell in line together because these songs were the songs I wanted to release anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had already like had it in my mind. Like these songs are like my favorite. These songs are like what's emotionally sticking out to me right now to where I'm at in life. Um, but definitely like the all this it's definitely like been like handed like 50-50. You know what I mean? Everything just worked together so well.
Yeah. You were saying earlier that there was one song that you ended up switching towards the end of the record. What was it about this song that you felt like it needed to be part of this album?
Um, there was just something about it, like hearing it done and everything, and the emotions in the song and everything, like with the way it was written. And I don't know, it just stuck out to me, and like I had a talk with everyone. I was like, I don't know, there's like nothing specific. I like heard it now. I was like this shit like needs to come out now, and I mean everyone's very excited about it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. And you have a tour coming up in September. Um, I'm sure. I'm sure. Like,
Dude, me, holy.
how do you prep for this kind of
I don't
stuff?
know,
You
man.
you went from your bedroom to now like a big ass 53 dates of a tour. Like, how do you prep for something like that?
Who knows, dude? I'm gonna lay in bed 2 weeks prior, and I'm just gonna sleep it all out. No, here's the thing. There's so much work to be done. We have a deluxe coming out. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that actually. We have a deluxe coming out right before the tour. So we have more songs coming in, and I'm gonna be so busy, just like spending the whole month of August rehearsing for tour, just building out the whole show. I don't know how I'm gonna prepare for this, man. I'm just gonna have to, cause we did the last run we did late. It was like a month and a half, and that was a lot. I was meeting like for meet and greets, VIP meet and greets. We had 100 people every single night, and there were like 31 shows or 28 or something.
A lot of energies.
Yeah, it's definitely like emotionally taxing because I keep forgetting I am human. When I go up on that stage, I'm like, oh, like I'm not human. I'm something else. No, I'm not. Um, I don't know. I'm gonna just have to take it slow. Like there's a lot of like shit that needs to be done, like mentally and physically with my health, like a- as I'm on tour and before I'm on tour, and like all that stuff. I'm just gonna have to figure out, because the thing is, like, I love it. I love like that like hour and a half of going up on that stage and singing my heart out, and all these everyone just screaming my name, and the attention seeking whore in myself is just like my feelings are fulfilled. I'm just so validated, and I'm just like, and I love it. I love every second like I'm up on that stage, and it makes like it makes all the tiredness. I don't know if that's a word. It makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know, we'll see, man. Maybe like half of the tour I'll be like, hey guys, sorry, canceling. I can't do this anymore. I'm tired. Refunds, no worries. No, I won't do that. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Now, mentioning that deluxe, is it new material that you've written after you released this record, or it's material that you wrote that could have been part of this record?
One song is new material after this record, and then the other songs were songs I wrote back in the day that were supposed to be on the album. What I still feel like they're like amazing, but weren't on the album.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dope. Well, I'm excited for this upcoming tour. For the fans out there, like, what can they look forward to as far as this tour? Aside from seeing you for 53 dates, but like not necessarily a set list, because I'm sure you're still working on that. But what can they look forward to, like, when they go to your shows? Period.
I've been working very hard on trying to figure out this how each show is gonna look like, but I hope, my one hope is they it's like weird. I don't know if it's weird to say, they come out with like a spiritual experience. Like, you come out and you're like, holy, like I've never like cried this much. I've never felt this much. I've never seen so much emotion in a human being in a show and at this. Like, I want it to be I want it to be like because I grew up a lot around church. You know what I mean? My mom was a pastor, and I remember like how like every Sunday would go with the music, flowing, and how everyone like comes out of it and they're like, holy like what the was that? And I guess like I'm trying to not like I'm not here's the thing, I'm not this is not a cult. Like I'm not trying to like start a whole new religion or something. I'm just saying like I want people to come out of it and like feel emotionally renewed, feel like something else just like happen in front of their eyes, and come out of it with like, with peace, and to know that, there's someone else out there who's also hurting as much as them.
Yeah. That's dope. That's dope. Well, lastly, to close us off, with this record, what would you say has been your proudest moment, either during the writing process, the recording process, or now that it's finally out?
My proudest moment. Probably now that it's finally out. I mean, it's a weird feeling when it's finally out. I had a panic attack the whole day. The whole day when it was coming out, like it was so bad. And when it finally came out, it was like all those years of hard work just like out in the world. This is definitely when the album came out.